Today I'm going to show you how NIS2 Supplier Security Policy looks like and how to fill out this document. And this kind of a policy is very important because it sets the basic rules on how to handle all the supply chain risks. And as the supply chain risks are actually rising more and more, this document helps you define the rules for all aspects of handling this kind of a risk. Okay, I'm showing you now the Supplier Security Policy template from Advisera's NIS2 documentation toolkit. And this is the first page, and typically in this first page you display company's logo, company's name, and some general information about the document, the code, the version, date, author, approver, these kind of things. So basically this is usually displayed in all policies and procedures that you write. And then in the second page you have the change history, so basically how the document has changed throughout its versions and dates, and also a table of contents, and then starts the main part of the document. Now, before I show you the main part of the document, let me just explain you how the document is structured. So first you start normally with the purpose, scope and users, and this explains what is the purpose of the document and who typically needs to read this kind of a document. Second section speaks about reference documents, so basically what is this related to? You would refer here to NIS2, or perhaps to ISO 27001 as a cybersecurity framework, and so on. And then you start in the main part of the document, start explaining the main elements, and you start by 3.1, where you define how you identify the risks related to third parties. So what is the method of identifying cybersecurity risks to your suppliers? Then the next thing is how you actually screen your suppliers. So basically how you select actually who you work with, and also how you sign agreements and what kind of security clauses need to be included in the agreements with suppliers. And also what kind of training and awareness you have to execute related to suppliers, because you also have to train your suppliers and make their employees aware of security that you have in your company. Then you have to define how you monitor these suppliers, how you make sure that they stay compliant with whatever security clause you have inserted in the security agreements. And also you have to define how actually you make changes to these agreements or services, or how you terminate those services. And finally, if the third-party service is terminated, then how do we remove the access to these employees from these third parties, and also how do they return any assets, physical or digital. And finally, the section 4 speaks about validity and document management. So basically, who is in charge of this document, who is the owner, and how often you have to review this document. And let me show you now how to fill out this document. So when you scroll down, you have this first section, purpose, scope, and users. So basically, you can leave it more or less as it is here. You have to fill out all the information that is required in this square bracket. So in this case, this is your company name. So let's say that your company is called, I don't know, Test Incorporated. Also here, I'll show you later on how to speed up the writing of these kind of things that are repeating. And yeah, the second section is about reference documents. So here you have the reference to NIS2 and the reference to the specific paragraph, and which is relevant for this one. And here in comments you can actually see a link to the full text of NIS2, and when you click this link you will be brought to this particular article in NIS2. Also references to controls from ISO 27001 and several other documents that you probably have in your company. Of course, you can adapt any of these things. So let's say that you do not have a confidentiality statement, that you simply have an NDA, then you simply write whatever is applicable to your company. And then goes the section 3.1 about identifying the risks. Here you can see that actually it refers to this risk assessment methodology. You might have some other document which defines how the risks are assessed. So let's say that you have, I don't know, ICT risk management framework. Let's say that you have something like this, then you basically define that the risk assessment is described in this kind of document. Again, you have these several bullets here which provide you with comments on what you need to do. So for example, do not delete these bullets. They are prescribed by NIS2. So you have to leave all of these 5 bullets here if you want to be compliant with NIS2. Of course, as you go through the document, you can simply delete comments that they're not getting into way. Again, identifying the risks. Who is the job title for supplier security? The comment actually suggests you who this might be. So you might have Chief Information Security Officer or maybe Purchasing Manager. So let's say that for supplier security, you have a Purchasing Manager who is in charge of this. Okay, and this is how you adapt the document for your specific needs. And this is how it goes on and on. So screening, again, who is in charge of defining what needs to be done with regards to screening. Again, here you have some suggestions on what you can actually screen, and so on and so forth. And yeah, you have to fill out the specific job titles, or in some cases specific technologies that you want to use. So for example, for training and awareness, who is the job title for training and awareness? Let's see what the comment says. It could be a training manager, HR manager, or CISO. So let's say you have a training manager. So let's go here, and then you simply write training manager. And basically this is how it goes. So this is simply how you go towards the end of the document and fill everything out and adapt this document for your specific needs. Of course, you also have to go here and define headers and footers. So let's say a company name, you could insert, and let's say confidentiality level, let's say this is internal use. Okay. Footer, supplier security policy, let's say this is version 0.2. So this is still, let's say, a draft, and from, let's say, August 20 something. Some of the main decisions related to this supplier security policy will be around screening of suppliers, monitoring of suppliers, these kind of things. And this needs to be decided primarily based on the risk assessment. So the results of the risk assessment, where are the biggest risks related to the suppliers, but also what are the regulations in your country specifically related to screening, but in some cases also to monitoring of third parties. And these kind of decisions should be made by a person in charge of security. So this could be a security officer or CISO, but also legal department, purchasing department if you have one, and all the other people that are normally involved in working with suppliers. And some other challenges that you will have with regards to this document will be getting the commitment for these kind of new rules, and also finding enough time to write this kind of a document. With regards to commitment, the best way to get the commitment from your other colleagues is to simply send the draft of this document for review to other colleagues in the company, specifically the heads of the departments. And once you get their inputs on what needs to be improved, this document will be not only better, you will also get their commitment, because once you include these improvements, they will feel that this kind of a document will be more realistic for implementation. And you also have to perform awareness programs where you will explain to employees and specifically to mid-level management on why secure handling of suppliers or supply chain is important, but also organize training programs where you will explain how these new processes are going to be implemented. And to resolve this challenge of having too much to write, I'll show you now how to use the document wizard from AI Power Toolkit to speed up the writing of this document. Okay, once you log into this NIS2 documentation toolkit software, you actually see these folders, and when you scroll down, you go for supply chain security, and then simply click this supplier security policy, and then you start this wizard, right? And this wizard basically helps you fill out automatically some information that is repeating, like job titles, certain functions that you have in a company, organizational units like departments, but also your logo, company name, these kind of things. So for example here, what is the name of the person to approve this document? It already pre-filled this name because this is the name I used for some previous documents, and then the software remembered this and suggested that this would be the name. Also the confidentiality level, it already remembered internal use from previous documents. And I simply click next step. Who is in charge of deciding if additional risk assessment is needed for suppliers? I have some suggestions here, like CISO or purchasing manager. So let's say that this time I want this to be done by the CISO, and then I go next. What is the job title of the person in charge of training and awareness activities in your company? Let's say this time I want this to be HR manager. Click next. Who is in charge of receiving information about security incidents? Let's say I have here CISO. I have a department like security department. Let's say security department. Okay, of course I can write anything else. I don't have to follow exactly what is written here. Job title to approve changes or termination of contracts. So this is, let's say, legal officer. Next step, approve this document, and then I click download, and I'll be able to download this document, which is pre-filled from this wizard. Okay, it goes pretty quickly, and it's here, and I simply click it and open it. And as you'll notice, the wizard already automatically inserted the logo, because I uploaded the logo previously when I started using the software, and also the company name, and also the approver. If you remember, I've had this field with the approver name and also the confidentiality level. This is already inserted. Also the header is inserted automatically. Okay, let's take a look at here. So what is inserted? Okay, so the company name. Also here, so it's CISO who decides whether it is necessary to assess additional risks. So if you remember, this is what I entered through the wizard. Yeah, let's say training and awareness. Now it says HR manager. This is what I entered through the wizard. So as you can see, the software automatically inserts this information and remembers this for any further documents. So anytime in the future, when there is a need to enter a person responsible for training, it will already know that this is the HR manager, and this is how we actually speed up writing of these documents. Hope this was helpful, and to see this supplier security policy for yourself, sign up for the free trial of NIS2 Toolkit. Click the link to the toolkit in the description below, and you'll be able to see the free demo of this document and also other documents from the toolkit, and you can also try how this document wizard works. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below, not to miss my new videos. Thanks for watching!